So a lot of people commented on Captain Burr's video that I did for the CCW Gunfighter series, and I was actually kind of surprised. A lot of people were asking about the dream that I referenced in that video and how it affected my choice of carry and what weapon I carry. And Burr's asked me to sit down and talk about this dream because it was that influential. So I'm one of those people that believe in the power of dreams. You know, sometimes you have some crazy dreams where nothing makes sense and, you know, it's all kinds of chaos. Other times it's dreams where you reconnect with someone that you might have lost, or, you know, something that happened in your life earlier, a hodgepodge of different things. But sometimes, like, you have a dream and there's a clear message, and it's, I believe, your subconscious mind trying to address things that are worrying you in reality. Like when you wake up in the morning and you go about your routine, do your daily thing, you might not have time to sit down and really think about these little things going on in your life, and they accumulate and they grow into stress. When you lay down at night and you fall asleep and you have those dreams, I feel that a lot of times it's those concerns, those worries manifesting, and you're being forced to address them. So this dream was actually, it's about a dog. It's about my dog Atlas, and I had just gotten him about 6 months before, and at the time I was living in the city, and I had just moved out to the country from the city, and I had just gotten my German Shepherd puppy. And you know, it was kind of a strange dream because there was a lot of different emotions in the dream. I was with somebody that I was dating the girl 5 years. I loved her with all my heart. It was a very important relationship to me, but the relationship was stressed. There's a lot of things going wrong in the relationship. You know, I was making mistakes. We stopped talking, we stopped communicating, and that's like a death sentence for any relationship. So it was actually my ex-girlfriend's idea that we get this dog. Found a breeder, a really well-known breeder, high-end dogs, really good German Shepherds. Most of her dogs go off to be military and police dogs. The litter that Atlas came from, 2 of the male dogs in that litter actually went off to be Hollywood dogs. They're actually the German Shepherds in the movie Megan Levy. So yeah, Atlas's brothers are famous movie stars. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to talk about the dream itself. So in the dream, I'm at my old apartment. This is probably, Atlas was about 5-6 months old. I had just moved out to the country. But in the dream, I was living at my old apartment in the city. And in the city where I live, there's this alleyway that went behind my apartment. So it was kind of sketchy. There was all kinds of bad stuff going on back there. It was shady as hell at nighttime. But during the day, it wasn't that bad. So I'm sitting in the backyard with the dog, and I'm just playing with my little fur ball. Just playing with a little baby Atlas. And you know, Atlas at this point, it was really little. He was maybe only 10 pounds. He's just ball fluff. He's big ears, big paws, clumsy. He was adorable. You know, he's a cute little puppy. So I'm in the backyard playing with the dog, and my girlfriend calls for me. And I had a back door that went into the kitchen. So she calls for me, and like I said, because of everything going on in our relationship, we weren't really communicating, we weren't really talking. So I was kind of like initially like perturbed, like upset that she's calling for me to come in when I'm outside with the puppy. So Atlas is just sitting there, and I'm like, stay. And I run into the back door real quick to see what she was calling me for. So I'm wearing like a t-shirt, shorts, you know, I'm not even wearing shoes, I'm just barefoot. And I'm talking to her, and I'm like, what's going on? And I know that I took a tone with her, and it was, I don't want to say an inappropriate tone. I'm like, what is it now? What's going on, right? And she starts talking to me about like drapes, about buying new drapes for like the bedroom. Like, should we get yellow drapes or blue drapes? And I'm like, this is what you called me inside for? Like, you know I'm outside with the puppy. Like, why won't you just come out back and talk to me about it? And like I said, it was like one of those things, because like all the things going on in our relationship, it was just my subconscious mind expressing like the lack of communication, talking, you know, trying to say like, hey, you know, your relationship's failing. And for me to get upset over something as trivial as getting called in the house to talk about something that's important to her, it was really showing in the dream. So no sooner did I step in the kitchen, she starts talking to me about these drapes. All of a sudden I hear Atlas yelp. Now I'm in full relaxed mode, you know, I'm barefoot, shorts, t-shirt, I don't have a gun on me. But I just instantly know something's wrong. And I look down on the kitchen table and my 1911 is sitting there. And at this point, the 1911 was my daily carry. And I've been carrying 1911 my entire adult life. I carried 8-round magazines in the gun plus 1 round in the chamber, hammer, cocked, and locked. So I best case scenario, I got 9 rounds in the gun. You know, at the time I had the bad habit of unloading my gun. I would take the round out of the chamber and, you know, take the magazine out. But when I looked down at the pistol, I saw that there was a magazine inserted, hammer, cocked, locked, so there's a high probability there's a round in the chamber, right? There wasn't certainty, just probability that there's a round in the chamber. So I grab the pistol and I run out back and I see this old hoopty out in the alleyway, like this beat up old car. It was like an old Cadillac or something. It was like 20 shades of primer and mismatched tires, just ratty. And I see this guy holding my puppy. The guy looks like a straight meth head. Just like a white guy, all grungy, wearing like, you know, ripped up jeans and like ripped up t-shirt. Just looked like a scumbag, right? And somebody's like, there he is, let's go. And the guy hops into the car with Atlas, and I see him, he's like holding him, and he's just like twisted his little paw, and Atlas is like crying in pain, so like crying. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? That's my dog. So I run a short distance, maybe 20 feet, and by the time I get to the car, the guy guns it, and just like speeds up the alleyway. So I'm running up the alleyway, and the alley, it was all crushed gravel, right? And I'm not wearing shoes. I'm just like sprinting as fast as I can behind this car, because as soon as it gets to the end of the alleyway, it's going to turn off onto the main street and it's gone forever. I just lost my dog. So I'm running, I feel the gravel cutting my feet, I'm running with my pistol, and the car backfires and it just like comes to a rest, it stops. And as soon as the car stops, all the 4 doors open. So all 4 doors open and all these scumbags just get out of the car. And they put their backs to the row homes that were adjacent to my apartment. So it's just like a back alley, everybody's sharing, you know, backyards in a row, and they're facing me. So I know definitively at this point that if I shoot someone, or I have to take a shot and I miss, that I'm going to toss around into somebody's back window, into their kitchen, you know, people's kids play in their backyards. You know, it's like a high likelihood that if I don't make a good shot, it's gonna have collateral damage. I'm gonna regret that shot. So these guys are holding Atlas and he's crying. I see the guy, he's just like twisting his paw, just like twisting it, like purposely hurting my dog. And I put my gun in his face. I'm like, give me my fucking dog. And the guy's like sneers at me and this little smile, and he's like, nah. I'm like, give me my fucking dog. The guy's like, you're not getting your dog, buddy. So I give the guy every opportunity possible to give him my dog. He continues to hurt the dog. I see his buddies. And this is a weird thing, because I had this dream every day in a row, like almost exactly verbatim the same for about a week or so. I think it was actually like 10 nights in a row. And not much changed. But the only thing that ever changed was sometimes in the dream, like 4 guys would get out of the car, and other times it was like a platoon of dudes. It was like a clown car, like just like 8, 10 guys would get out, right? And I'm only a few feet away from them, maybe 10 feet. So I know that if these guys rush me, they're going to get me. I know that if one of them pulls a knife, they're 2 steps away from cutting me. I know that I don't have enough bullets to like take care of the problem. Like if these guys wanted to visit harm on me, that I'm probably going to lose this. Now, every time in the dream, I remember thinking like I really hope that my girlfriend's inside calling the police. And, you know, she had her CCW, she carried a gun, she had her own rifle, like she shot. I'm just like hoping that she's going to show up, like calling the police and rolling up with a rifle to back me up, like outflanking them, right? I'm like just praying that that's what's going to happen. But like I said, because everything going on in my personal life, in reality, like I knew she wasn't going to be there for me. I knew it was 100% on me, that no one was coming to save me, and whatever the outcome is it's going to be on my shoulders alone. So the guy continues to hurt Atlas. I tell him to give me the dog. I see like one of the guys starting to move, like starting to outflank me, come off to my side. He's going to blindside me, and I pull the trigger. I blow his brains out. I shoot him right between the eyes, pink mist out the back, skull fragments, the whole 9 yards, right? Super, super realistic. And I remember thinking about it before I shot the guy. I'm like, you can't shoot a dude over a dog, right? Like, I understand, I love this dog. This dog's my entire world. It's the one little safe thing in my life. But you can't kill a person over that. I know this in my dream. But I also know that no one's coming to save me. The police aren't on their way. Now, if I don't do something, then they're going to take my dog and they're going to torture it to death, and I'm never going to see it again. So I'm like in this moral dilemma in the dream. Like, they're hurting my dog in front of me. The dog is yelping. It's an innocent little puppy. I know I can't kill a human being over animal abuse, but I pull the trigger. I kill the guy. And as soon as I shoot that first dude, like the ringleader, the arch bad guy, his goons rush me, and I just start burning dudes down. And every single time in the dream, regardless if it was 4 guys or 8 guys or 10 guys or whatever, they're on top of me, and my slide is locked to the rear. So with the 1911, I'm a child of the 80s. When I started shooting pistol, the assault weapons ban was going on. You couldn't get high cap mags. It was super expensive, hard to get. So Jeff Cooper and all the old school gunfighter guys, like, they're big advocates of 1911. Served our country for damn near 100 years. So, like, I have my confidence. Like, I still outshoot myself. I can outshoot myself with the 1911 over my Glock. Like, it's the gun I'm most proficient with, most accurate with. So this gun, I built this gun myself. I had a 2112 Marine Corps precision armor help me build this weapon. Like, it's a reliable 1911. I've never had any issues with it. The issue I had with the pistol was the capacity, and that was the whole thing in the dream, was I didn't have enough rounds to eliminate that many threats. The other thing about a 1911, or shooting a 45, is that it has a stronger recoil impulse. So to drive from one target, ride the recoil, next target, ride the recoil, if you're going to shoot everybody once and then go back through, like, there's a time delay. Like, it's noticeable, and you can do it yourself. You own both the 1911 45 and the Glock 19. Like, your split times, like, I'm not a competition shooter, but like, if you take a shot timer, you can see the difference. So if all it's about is just getting rounds on target, good hits on target, the 9mm wins out for that. So I wake up every morning in, like, cold sweat, like, what the hell? Why do I keep having this dream? What's going on? I've trusted this system. I've trusted this pistol for, like, over a decade. Like, what does this dream mean? And I'm like, you don't have enough bullets. Obviously there's all these other subconscious indicators, like the problem with my girlfriend, the failing of my relationship, my devotion to this puppy, this dog, this innocent little creature that relies on me to feed it and keep it alive and nurture it into, the dog that is today. All these things. But, this is like the nightmare scenario. Like, I'm a combat veteran of the Marines. I went over Iraq. And there's a difference between, like, being supported by a squad of riflemen that, are going to take care of you. Everybody's a bunch of angry young men with machine guns that are going to avenge your death if you get hurt and go down. You got a corpsman there to take care of you. But in the civilian world, it's different. It's like, you're not part of a team. It's just you. And that's a different kind of stress. It's like a different type of gunfight that, I'm not familiar with. So it was like all these things at once. And I started thinking about it, analyzing the dream. I'm like, I'm going to go shoot my Glock. So I take my Glock out. I've owned it for years. I probably had, 30,000 rounds through the platform, through various types of Glocks over the years. I know I'm proficient. I can shoot any police qualification, any qualification. I'm going to flying colors, high marksman across the board. But I never gave it the time and respect that I did in 1911, because I would always shoot more accurately with that 1911. So I go out to the range, go out, shoot. I shot like 250, maybe 300 rounds from my Glock, and I went home and I went to bed, and I never had the dream again. So I wake up the next day and I'm like, you didn't have the dream, dream's gone. Started carrying the Glock, and I never had the dream ever again. So for me, it's like, back in the 90s, early 2000s, like, 45's king. Like, I carry 45 because they don't make a 46. All that, and there was a lot of truth to that because of hollow point technology. But, hollow points have changed so much exponentially better than they were just 5 years ago. That if you look at all the different ballistic gel data, all that stuff, you're doing yourself a disservice by not carrying a 9mm. And you know, I knew that. I mean, all the data supports that why not have more rounds in the gun with a lighter recoil impulse? So from that day forward, I carried my Glock, and that's still the gun I carry to this very day. You know, I look at my 1911 and I still have it. I'll never get rid of that gun. I mean, I love it, but you know, I don't really shoot it very much anymore. It's like a piece of nostalgia from my past, you know, from, you know, me coming up as a Marine, as a young man, all that stuff. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like I'm surprised myself that I let that dream affect me. You know, I've talked to a lot of guys over the years about, you know, deadly force encounters and having nightmares about the war, and a lot of times, like, the things that you worry the most about, that's where they show through, is your dreams. And if you have that nightmare, that dream where you're outgunned or outnumbered, or your gun fails, like that's the classic like gunfighter nightmare, right? Like you get in the bad guy situation and you got to react, you control your gun, you get a click instead of a boom. I find that if you have those dreams, if you go out and train, like immediately go out and train your system and revalidate your confidence in that system, those nightmares go away right away. And you know, it's been years for me, years since I've dreamt about the war. I never really dreamt about the war that much. Like, I never dreamt about my failures in combat or my failures on the battlefield, because I didn't have that many. I was very, very fortunate that way. But I would have these dreams where I'd relive patrols or missions where it was a real mission that I experienced in reality, but in the dream it would go sideways. I would screw things up and I'd do the wrong thing. I'd get my Marines killed. I'd get myself, you know, wounded. I'm bleeding out. I'm dying a terrible death. And I would go train and it would go away. And I've talked about this with a lot of guys, and everybody agrees that, like, when you have those dreams, the only way to make them go away is to go shoot, go train, go validate your system, and they go away. So anyway, like, obviously this is a super personal story, and you know, it's me just kind of like bearing my soul about this dream. But I wanted you guys to know it. You know, enough of you asked about the dream, why it affected my choice and the platform I carry and the way I carry and everything else. And you know, like I said, it's been about 3 years now, and I've never had that dream ever again or anything like it. I believe more in the system I carry now than the system I carried then. And for me, it was worth it. It was worth changing.